Ooh, sourdough bread. Tasty. I think it's time to make another loaf. Okay, first, I would not call this an instructional video. I don't know the stuff and the measurements and whatever. When I learned to make sourdough bread, I was doing it over a walkie-talkie, and the person at the other end said, "Hold on, I'm busy. Let me call you back in 20 minutes." And I was like, "I'm not waiting 20 minutes." And I just guessed and did it, and it worked. So this is more of a video to show how easy it is to make sourdough bread, even when you don't really have a clue what you're doing and you do a crappy job. Which would have been super useful to me years ago, because I was always under the impression that making sourdough bread was this big complicated thing, and I was always like, boy, I'd like to learn it one day, because the sourdough bread's supposed to be better for you, plus you don't have to go to the store to buy yeast and all this stuff, and I also like the way it tastes and all that. Okay, this here is my sourdough starter. It's like the reactor for your bread, and it's been sitting here overnight. Yummy, doesn't that look delicious? Ooh, yeah. Now, mine I just got from someone else, and I just feed it flour and water every day. But to make a sourdough starter, and I didn't make one because my friend Deshana said, "Ooh, my sourdough starter's amazing, you can have some." But to make one, you take like a little scoop of flour and like an equal amount of water. Someone has measurements for this, but I don't measure anything. I'm just like, so you put some flour and water in a thing and make it look kind of like that, and then leave it with a lid that doesn't seal. This has some cracks so air can get through. So I can put it on, bugs won't get in, but it's also not sealed because I guess air has to get out or something. And then the next day, add a little more flour and water, same amount. And then the next day, add a little more flour and water. And I think by like the 5th day, you'll be getting all these little bubbles and stuff. That means it's fermenting. And that means you can start using it. Now, once you've got your sourdough starter, it is an alive thing. So the best thing, you're supposed to like feed it every day some flour and water, equal amounts, and kind of keep it like this. I make bread every maybe 2 or 3 days. So on the days I don't, I just get like a scoop of flour and a little dribble of water in there. But today I'm making some bread, so let's go do what I do. All right, I need to open a new bag. Let's see if I can get this stupid straight right. So I was never a big fan of bread until I moved off grid, and flour is it's just a really cheap and convenient thing. You can buy it in big bags that are, I don't know, it's like $10-ish for a 25-pound bag, and it's easy to store. It's not the greatest thing to eat, but if you ferment it, it's a lot better. All right, give me a minute to get this stinking bag open. Okay, there we go. I just start by throwing my flour right into my main thing here. And I just guess, how much do I want? I don't know. Yeah, 2 scoops, sounds great. And let's stick enough water in to make it look kind of like something. Well, it's starting to look about right. There are some lumps in there, but whatever. Let's make it a little thinner. Oh, beauty. All right, let's take most of this donkey do and put it into a bowl, which I haven't washed since last time I made bread. It's fine. Yeah, I'll save about that much. All right, I'll stick my little buddy over here and he can hang out, and tomorrow I'll give him a little more flour and water. And now this guy, I need to add enough flour to make it into bread dough. And I usually like to put shredded coconut in here too, because it makes really good bread. But I don't have a coconut right now, so we're just making straight sourdough. I'll put an entire shredded coconut in one of these, and it turns out great. Fresh coconut, not store-bought with sugar added or anything. Let's see how that goes. I'm trying to speed this up for the camera, but I'm just puffing flour all over the place. All right, let's go fast enough. When it starts getting thick enough, I'll get a hand in there. And whenever I need bread, I only... Oh, gosh. Oh, dude, you're like totally interrupting my sourdough video. Yeah, what's up? All right, I always pick one hand to knead with. So, you know, I can have one hand that's clean because right now I'm going to need more flour. This is too goopy. And I just keep adding flour at this point until it comes out good. And in terms of the dryness of the dough, there's a pretty wide range of what's acceptable. Yesterday I made a loaf that it seemed pretty wet, but I was like, well, let me just give it a try. And it came out totally fine. Other times, you know, it'll be pretty dry enough that, you know, it doesn't stick to anything when it touches it. So I just go for anywhere in a acceptable range that's like dough. Yeah, that's getting pretty good. Oh, you know what I'm forgetting? Deshana always gives me crap for this. You don't add salt to your bread. You don't need to add salt to your bread, but then like bread Nazis say there's no salt in your bread. It doesn't taste right. Get these dreadlocks off my fingers. Now this will get kind of liquidier as the bacteria or whatever in there eats the flour and turns it into poop, or I don't know what it does. That's it. Just come back in a few hours. Well, this is about an hour and a half later. Looking good. Ooh, that looks excellent. All right, let's slap that in the pan. Tiny bit of oil, just to make sure it doesn't stick. Any luck? Blob right out. Oh, come on. Good enough. Extra blobs in there. I got a bit of the flour spread around on the top, so it'll make it easier to flip. Because I'm not cooking it in an oven. I'm cooking on a fire. Yeah, looks good enough. So that sat there for about 3 hours, and with all the bubbles it puffed up to about, no, did I say 3 hours? 6 hours, about 6 hours. And it expanded to maybe 3 times its original size. And while it's cooking, it's going to heat up and the bubbles will expand and it'll maybe get up to like 5 times the original volume. You know, nice and puffy. I guess I'll just let it sit there and cook for a while. And since anyone else, most people would just cook this in an oven, but I don't have an oven right now, so I'm just cooking it on the fire. And I've done it enough times to get a pretty good feel for when it's hot enough and, you know, when I should flip it and everything. I very rarely burn one, like very rarely. All right, I'm gonna leave that for a bit. There's just a bit of dry flour in the bowl, so I can leave that for a couple days and then do another bread in it. Unless I need it for something else, in which case I'll wash it, but most of the time I don't bother. Oh my gosh! I need to eat the rest of my previous sourdough before the next one's cooked. There's nothing else under there, right? Oh, I've got a bunch of pepper seeds. I need to figure out where to plant them. One of the things I like about bread is that I can wake up in the morning, make a thing of dough, and then put it aside, go spend all day working on the roof or whatever I'm doing, and then at the end of the day, it's ready to go. All right, while the bread's cooking, I'm gonna have this here fish. People are always asking me if I go fishing. We caught this guy and a bunch more in the fish trap. So fish dinners tonight. Oh, nice. I just flipped it, which involves me dumping it into one hand and then just kind of plopping it back in. Oh, it's getting dark. I guess it's later than I realized. Oh, that looks great. Ooh, I'm gonna have some of that tonight. Oh, I guess I better try a piece. Ooh. Oh, delicioso. Nice work.